I often get asked, hey, Lauren, what are the essential baking tools that I need in my kitchen when I'm getting started? And in today's video, I'm sharing exactly what I think you should have and give you tips on how to use these items and what you might want to consider buying next. So I'm so ready to dive into this with you. Let's get going. I'm gonna show you my very favorite tool that is gonna make your baking life and your cookie baking and decorating life so much easier, and that is a mixer. And it doesn't have to be the most heavy duty, it doesn't even have to be like a super large capacity, but I love my mixer so much. And if there's anything that can make my life easier, I love it. A mixer definitely does that. So this is a much smaller capacity one, but this is great for regular batches of cookies. This is great for a good, decent, basic mixer is gonna be something that you wanna have. Can you bake with a hand mixer? Can you mix up cookie dough with a hand mixer? Yes, you can, but I have heard people tell me that trying to mix up dough a lot with a hand mixer breaks the hand mixer. And you can get a mixer right off the bat. You can get one on sale and it'll be pretty inexpensive. Down the road, you're gonna want maybe a larger capacity one. I've got a 4.5 quart mixer that I baked cookies with for years. I now have like a 7 quart one, which I love. And then I've got a regular size KitchenAid that I use just for mixing up icing. You don't have to have that many, just one mixer will do. All right, I'm gonna take you on a little tour of all the other tools that I have here. I'm gonna show them to you. Check this out. I've got a baking sheet. So this is a regular half-size baking sheet. It's an 18 by 13 pan. And it's not coated. It's not anything super fancy, but it's just an easy to use, clean pan that is ready to bake on. So I would suggest getting some decent quality sheet pans because you can cook with these, you can bake with these, you can do so many things with just this kind of sheet pan. And there's some that you can get at the store that are kind of odd sizes. I wouldn't recommend, I would recommend this half sheet. It's an 18 by 13 and it's gonna fit your parchment really well. So that's the other recommendation I have for you as one of the best tools is parchment paper. Pre-cut parchment paper is a dream and it makes baking life so much easier. So I love these parchment sheets because you can get your kind of basic parchment sheets. These are good to have. You can also get there's different quality and levels of parchment paper. And this one, it happens to be a natural color, but this one really catches more of like the grease or the oils. But don't feel like you have to get super fancy parchment paper. Basic parchment paper is gonna be just fine. And bonus, it fits into the pan like perfectly and I love it. I love it. All right, let me put this out of the way here. I'm gonna get all my other tools that I wanna share with you over here because they're so good and I can't wait to give you all the details on these. Before I give you the details though, I have to tell you thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying it and I hope that if you want to amaze your friends and family with the most awesome looking cookies they've ever seen, just know that you're in the right place. This channel is where deliciousness meets joy. We're all about having fun with cookies and making life more fun with cookies. We're gonna show you how to make cookies that look impressive but are easy to make. So please do me a favor. Be sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button. Don't miss a new episode, get that notification bell on, and of course, share this channel with your friends and family who you think might want to join you. It really helps out a lot. All right, so I've got this stack of more tools that I want to talk about and show you. They're so good. Check out this rolling pin. You may have heard about a measured rolling pin before. This is definitely one of the best baking tools that you can have is a measured rolling pin. I used to get so annoyed with rolling out dough, rolling out cookies, rolling out pie dough and it wouldn't be the right thickness and it would all be uneven and it'd be so frustrating until I came across this thing. You can change, so it has different discs on it and you can get, there's a bunch of different brands of these. This happens to be the Joseph rolling pin, and I love it because there are some rolling pins, measured rolling pins that you can get that have rubber discs. You have to be kind of careful with those because when you press on it, then it can actually make your dough thinner than what you think. But anyway, a measured rolling pin is such a great tool to have. It'll give you, I think, 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch. I have to look, and it's got 2 thinner ones than that too. So when you use the measured rolling pin, what you're gonna do is you can choose your thickness, and then you just go ahead and roll out your dough or whatever you're rolling out, and then it'll be the exact right height all the way across. It'll be awesome. Okay, before I talk about these cutters, these cookie cutters that I have here, let me show you this. So this is a brand new one, all packaged up. This is a silpat. This is like an original French silpat, and I love it. I've been using these for a long time. So you can get silpats everywhere. You can get them on Amazon. You can check out my Amazon favorites list. Go to lollishomekitchen.com to get to that. You can grab silpats. I mean, Amazon has silpats. There's many different brands, but these are one of the best quality. This is a half size sheet. This is like a silicone material. It's really great, not just for baking your cookies, but I love using it to roll out dough so that I don't have to use a lot of extra flour. And hands down, this is one of the best, most versatile baking tools out there. And I definitely recommend that you have one or a couple of these in your kitchen. Okay, so let me show you how it goes in the pan, right? It's perfect. Again, kind of like that parchment, sits really nicely. And I know I've talked about the parchment, which you can use parchment to bake on. You can also use the silpat to bake on. But like I said, I use the silpats to roll out my dough, and I still bake on parchment, but you know, the preference is yours. Last but not least, let's talk about some cookie cutters, okay? Let's get real about cookie cutters. I recommend having some good quality cookie cutters if you're gonna be baking a lot of cookies, because crappy cookie cutters mean that your shapes aren't as sharp and it's just not as easy. So I've got a few kinds here. So we've got metal cookie cutters. These are always great. And even cheap versions of metal cookie cutters, I would say, are better than okay quality plastic ones. And we'll talk about these plastic ones in a sec here. They're sturdy. They usually have a sharp edge because it's metal. And you can get them coated too. So this is a coated one. This is a metal cutter. It's got a coating on it. But it still gives you a nice sharp cutting edge. And that's probably the main thing that you want when you are cutting dough, is that you have sharper edges. And when you get to the plastic cookie cutters here, so this happens to be a sturdier plastic. It's a molded plastic that has a rubberized top, so it's easier on your hands. The plastic is good, it's really awesome, but you do have to be careful that you don't get it too hot. There are some plastic cutters you can't put in the dishwasher. Like these 3D printed ones are awesome, but they cannot go in the dishwasher. If you get these molded ones, they're manufactured differently. So usually you can put them in the dishwasher, but you do have to be careful because sometimes the edges can get dinged and they end up not being as sharp. Here's another plastic one. So it's a lot like this one too, but just the whole thing is plastic. It doesn't have a soft edge at the top. And then we have 3D printed cookie cutters, which you will probably see around a lot. They're awesome. I love 3D printed cookie cutters. You can print any kind of shape that you want with them. And there's a bunch of shops that have turned, you know, that's all they do is cookie cutters, which is awesome. But there's different quality levels to 3D printed cookie cutters. So I recommend that you get some that are well printed. You can get 3D printed cookie cutters that have a really wide base to the bottom. They don't cut very well, so keep an eye on that. So this one has one of the thinnest edges at the bottom, but even compared to these plastic ones, they're not quite as quote unquote sharp at the very end. But this one still cuts really well. Just be careful that if you do get 3D printed cookie cutters, if you don't get a good quality one, it's just not gonna cut your cookies very well, and like it's almost not even worth it at that point. So the other thing on 3D printed cookie cutters, there's so many different heights. And this one, I believe, is at least a 1/2 inch high. And you want a 1/2 inch high or higher. I always do my cookies at like 3/8 of an inch. So this means that I can get a good cut and I'm not like digging down into the dough when I cut it out. So here's the rundown on cookie cutters. Make sure that you have some good quality ones when you're baking. So we've gone over some really great tools that you are going to want to have when you are baking and baking cookies. The next thing I talked about, a larger mixer. So, you know, down the road, when you're ready, you can get a larger capacity mixer that might help you out. Also, if you start baking a ton, get a baking rack, even a 1/2 rack, where you can hold probably 20 trays at a time. I remember when I was starting out, I had maybe, you know, I started with 2, then I got like 10. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I need like a 1/2 baking rack. And it would still fit in my kitchen, but it just allowed me to bake more efficiently, which was really helpful. And then quality parchment. I talked about that, you know, basic, start with the basic, but then check out different kinds of parchment paper. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know in the comments, how big is your mixer? I'd love to know that. What kind of mixer are you using? And if you have a small capacity, are you satisfied with that? Or are you dying to have a larger mixer? I also would love to know your thoughts about cookie cutters, because there are a lot of opinions out there about cookie cutters and which ones are best and which ones aren't. So I've shared with you my advice and what I think about cookie cutters, but I would love to know what you think. So let me know in the comments. Thank you so much. All right, if you're watching this video, then my guess is that you like baking and maybe you love decorating cookies. So if you do, please join me in Cookie Camp. It's a 5-part workshop series that will give you insider secrets to professional cookie decorating right in your own kitchen. You're gonna learn how to make the best sugar cookies, the best royal icing, and how to decorate them like a pro. Plus, we'll show you how to get incredible designs every time. No more frustration, no more wasted ingredients, no more hitting your head against the wall. We've got everything covered. And the only thing that you have to do is come, join, and have fun. Join me in Lollys Cookie Camp and let me help you take your cookie game from amateur hour to pro status. With expert guidance, you'll have tons of fun and success along the way as well. And if there's any questions as you're going along, don't worry. Just ask one of our friendly team members. They'll be more than happy to help you out when needed. So what do you say? Are you ready to have some serious fun? I hope you are. Let's get started today. Sign up for Cookie Camp using the link below before spots run out.